No, some of the things I'm going to say are probably going to offend some people, and then some people are going to totally understand because we've got to start putting children at the forefront of our thoughts and our feelings. Care about the children first, because I think everything else that I say that people get offended by, like I just don't think they have a good reason to get offended. But because of that reason, I do have to give a disclaimer before we get started into my content. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And I'm getting this particular story, I haven't talked about this in a while, from dailymail.com. So Daily Mail, thank you very much. So before y'all get offended, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say some stuff that's probably not going to sit well with your sensibilities. I think President Trump was on to something when you're talking about closing the borders down. And more than anything, I think what that means is that we have to start protecting our borders, putting America first, putting the safety of our people. Like, we should have rules and regulations just like every other continent and country in the world has rules and regulations before you enter onto their grounds, to their premises. I think we should too. We try to make it seem like it's just a beautiful thing to have this big melting pot and anybody can just come over here, legal or illegal, doesn't matter. They can just do whatever the hell they want, pay taxes, not pay taxes, rob, steal, kill, destroy. It doesn't matter. And I think it does matter. This is a story that I believe that should really, really take a lot of people back and understand this is exactly why we should have checks and balances before entering our country for everybody. A Guatemalan immigrant who entered the United States in January illegally and is accused of raping and murdering his 11-year-old neighbor says that he was forced to do it by two black men who held him at gunpoint. Oh, Davy. Really, son? Really? You come into the country illegally and you just, like, how does he know to just automatically pin that on two black men with a gun? Let alone the fact that it was two black men with a gun. They didn't try to rob you, but they wanted to see you do something heinous and commit a murder. And then they just ride off into the sunset and now you're going to take the rap for it? Nor does that make any sense. But let me give y'all some more. Yes, he blamed it on two phantom black men. So I guess that's just what people are doing nowadays. His name is Juan Carlos Garcia-Rodriguez, 18 years old, appeared in court for the first time on Thursday because they were looking for him, but they found him actually. For the first time on Thursday after being accused of raping, strangling, and hiding that little girl, and her dad was holding a picture of her. That's the biological father. That's his little girl, Maria Gonzalez, who was 11 years old, in a plastic bag shoved into a laundry basket. And this happened on August the 12th, 2 days after my birthday, on August the 12th. Gonzalez's body was found by her father at their home in Pasadena, Texas, when he returned home from work. Pasadena Police Department named Garcia-Rodriguez as a person of interest and the main suspect in the case, noting a key left behind in the little girl's home as a vital piece of evidence. And that's that angel right there. Beautiful little girl had her whole life ahead of her. Stolen by some damn fool. Authorities in Shreveport, Louisiana, took Rodriguez into custody last weekend after Harris County, Texas officials charged him with capital murder in connection with the girl's death. So he tried to run, he tried to hide, and I'm pretty sure those two black men with those guns forced him to run and hide too, and was trying to force him back into Mexico after forcing him to murder this little girl, right? Police said that Garcia-Rodriguez has been residing in the same apartment complex where the victim was found prior to her death. Bail was denied for Garcia-Rodriguez in the case, and according to prosecutors, he came in voluntarily, first denying the heinous incident and then admitting he had been involved. They claimed that Garcia-Rodriguez was forced at gunpoint by not one but two black men to commit the sexual assault, which could see him face the death penalty. According to court documents obtained by the outlet, Maria's father, Carmelo, had heard Garcia-Rodriguez in the stairwell on the phone when he left for work. Maria was taking out the trashy it literally said trashy. That's a typo. Was taking out the trash and told her dad that it was the long-haired neighbor, and then Carmelo proceeded to go to work. Around 10:02 a.m., Carmelo received a WhatsApp text from Maria stating that someone was knocking on the door, so he sent family to check on her. When he came home at 2:30 p.m., he found his daughter's body in a black trash bag and stuffed inside a white clothes hamper, which was wrapped in another trash bag. Her body had blunt force trauma to the head and neck. Carmelo also found a silver key on the floor. After speaking with neighbors, Garcia-Rodriguez's roommates said that he had a new job and was moving away but refused to give the key back. They told cops or police they were forced to change the locks. When police returned to the scene, they asked for the old lock and the roommates' keys, which matched the old lock. Garcia-Rodriguez was reportedly drinking until the early hours of the morning of the day of the murder and denied being at the crime scene, according to Fox News. Prosecutors said that when he turned himself in, he was with friends, but they did not corroborate the story. The 18-year-old was living at a hotel complex for several weeks and last seen at a complex 2 days after the brutal killing. Garcia-Rodriguez is believed to have entered the U.S. in January. He crossed the border in El Paso, Texas, illegally. That's what I read in another article. After he self-surrendered, it is believed the teenager, who was 17 when he crossed, was then let free. Detectives released a photograph of Garcia-Rodriguez with their appeal and also offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to his arrest or charges before finding him and taking him into custody. Let me see here. I'm going to read a little bit more of this. Sources in the Department of Homeland Security told News Nation that it's believed that he may have fled to Mexico before police picked him up on August the 19th. Garcia-Rodriguez has been released after entering the U.S. because he had a sponsor in Louisiana. A sponsor typically agrees to provide housing or financial support to a migrant while they are processed and their status is determined. Talking to Fox News, Carmelo said the last thing he heard from his daughter was that she was in bed. Shortly after leaving, Carmelo said that he received a message from Maria telling him someone had been knocking on the door. That guy. I told her, don't open the door because I'm arriving at work. And she responded, I am in bed, Gonzalez told the outlet. Law enforcement officials said that there was no forced entry into the home. The father and daughter had been living in the apartment complex for about 3 months. The girl's mother lives in Guatemala. Maria and her father live in Austin, Texas, and Florida before Pasadena. Maria was not enrolled at Pasadena ISD, according to police. Police also took DNA samples from others living in the complex, but say getting cooperation has been challenging. Tens of thousands of migrants entered the U.S. through El Paso this year. The crisis has been ongoing for several years, but reached its peak in around December 2022 as the government prepared to end COVID-era Title 42 rules that made it harder to enter the country. Many present to authorities Many present to authorities in a process before their release. Most are expected to appear in court at a later date for a process to determine their status. Just left hanging in the balance, and then they go do stuff like this. Not everybody, but this fool did. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. If y'all would do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think about this story and what do you think a solution is for this? Like, if you know that they're coming from El Paso, like, can't we do something? Don't just keep letting people in. Shit. I don't know. I don't have the answers.
Well, the 18-year-old man charged in the horrific death of an 11-year-old girl just made his first appearance in court this morning. Juan Carlos Garcia-Rodriguez walked into court wearing a yellow jumpsuit and handcuffs. He arrived back in Harris County yesterday after being arrested in Louisiana. ABC 13 reporter Charlie Etzedy has more on this story. And Charlie, it's first time we're getting a chance to see this man. Did the judge set a bond and how high?
Good morning, Melanie. Well, we learned in court just a short time ago that the judge decided to continue to hold Garcia-Rodriguez on no bond on this capital murder charge that he is currently facing. And so, as you mentioned, we just got our first look at him inside of a courtroom a short time ago. Let's get to that video. And so what we know right now is that this teen is accused of strangling and sexually assaulting 11-year-old Maria Gonzalez inside the Pasadena apartment that she shared with her father. Investigators say that this happened back on August 12th while the girl's dad was at work, and documents reveal horrific details here. The father found Maria's body inside of a trash bag that was inside of a laundry basket shoved under his bed. And so detectives identified Garcia-Rodriguez as their suspect thanks to a key that he allegedly left there at the crime scene. They arrested him 1 week later in Shreveport, Louisiana. So in court, we did learn the suspect is now claiming to investigators that he was held at gunpoint during this incident, saying that 2 other men were also involved in this. And so prosecutors right now say that they have not found any evidence to support that. And meanwhile, this man's defense attorney is proclaiming his innocence.
Very happy that the judge agreed to continue to hold him at no bond. We believe he's a flight risk. It's a very serious case, and we're very happy with the outcome today.
This is an accusation in the criminal justice system, and that accusation, it's simply an allegation. My client has a right to a trial, a right to defend himself, and at this time, he's innocent until the state proves him guilty.
And so one of the big questions here is DNA evidence. And so we learned in court that it's still being processed at this point, and it could potentially be a couple more months until they actually have that evidence. And so we'll continue to check for updates with that. And we also learned that Garcia-Rodriguez is due back in court on October 30th. From the newsroom, Charlie Etzedy, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Charlie, first time.
Good evening to you. We begin with some heartbreaking news. An 11-year-old girl was sexually assaulted and killed inside of her home over in Pasadena while her father was at work. Fox 26's Gabby Hart joining us live from Pasadena with this shocking tragedy.
Yeah, Rashi, every now and then you get a story that really makes you sick to your stomach. It's hard to report, and this is one of those stories. I can tell you the last time his father heard from his daughter, she texted him that someone was knocking on the door. That would lead to the gruesome discovery that he made when he went home to check on her. Around 10 o'clock Saturday morning, 11-year-old Maria Gonzalez, who was home alone, texted her father telling him someone was knocking on their door. I told her don't open the door because I'm arriving at work, and she responded, I'm in bed. That was the last time he heard from her. So he sent relatives to their apartment on Main Street in Pasadena to check on her. They found the front door unlocked, and little Maria was nowhere to be found. So her father came home and began searching, and that's when he found his little girl's lifeless body underneath his bed inside of a laundry basket. Unfortunately, they left her under the bed in a plastic bag. They left my poor daughter. According to the Pasadena Medical Examiner's office, Maria had been raped and strangled.
What they did to her, they didn't have the, oh my God, I'm in shock.
This heinous crime has left neighbors sickened and afraid for their safety because the monster responsible is still on the loose.
And this little girl, she's this like little angel. How can they do that to her? And hopefully you get caught, whoever did this to her. Hopefully you do.
And we asked Pasadena police if they believe this little girl was targeted.
It seems awfully, suspicious that, dad leaves for work and, within 30 minutes you've got somebody knocking at the door.
Pasadena police saying that this community has a large population of undocumented migrants. So some people are hesitant to speak with them, but they want to make it clear.
I'm here to tell you right now, immigration status on a case like that, it's neither here nor there. The important thing right now is solving this case and getting the community safe.
Yeah, really a tragic story to report on tonight. I can't tell you.
Today, we are learning how police identified a person of interest in the death of the 11-year-old.
Pasadena police say they found a key belonging to a different apartment at the scene where Maria was sexually assaulted and strangled. Marcelina Benito joins us from Pasadena tonight. And Marcelina, as we reached out to the child's mother who lives in Guatemala, talking about the loss of her daughter.
Well, Len and Mia, you just feel for this mother. She's absolutely just devastated, heartbroken, and having to experience this pain from thousands of miles away. And tonight, major developments in the case.
This is a horrific crime. We're leaving no stone unturned.
6 days since the brutal sexual assault and murder of 11-year-old Maria Gonzalez, police have someone they want to talk to again.
So that is a recent photo and what he looked like when they contacted him.
This is 18-year-old Juan Carlos Garcia-Rodriguez, seen in police body cam footage when they questioned him Saturday after the murder. He entered the country illegally in El Paso in January and surrendered to authorities. Police say he lives in an apartment just steps away from the victim's home, where she was found inside a trash bag in a laundry hamper under the bed.
One thing they found was a key in the apartment. That key has been crucial in helping us move this case forward.
The key left behind at the murder scene opened the door to Garcia-Rodriguez's apartment. By the time police realized it, he had already fled the area. He was last seen Monday at 4. Police believe he could be fleeing to Mexico.
Somebody knows where he's at, and if they do, we're asking that they reach out to us.
Thousands of miles away in Guatemala, Maria's mother devastated, waiting for news.
Ella estaba bien donde ella estaba, no tenían derecho de quitarle la vida, mi angelito.
She tells us her daughter had moved to the U.S. to be with her dad while he worked to support the family back home. Maria was set to return to Guatemala for good in October.
Ella pues ya no está conmigo. Me duele, pero el dolor no lo tengo en la cara, lo tengo en el corazón.
Now this mother can only watch police work from afar, hoping and praying they catch a killer.
Y mientras él está afuera, puede hacer más daño a las madres. Y yo ese dolor ya no le deseo a nadie, pues.
Tonight, police telling me they have a message for Maria's mother.
We're doing everything we absolutely can to bring whoever this is to justice, to answer for this.
Now, police are still waiting on DNA samples. If they do come back as a match for Garcia-Rodriguez, a warrant would be issued for his arrest. Now, about a mile away from the police station is the family home, and tonight there is a vigil happening at 7 o'clock. We have a crew there, and our Devon Roming will have more on that on KJ.
At the end of the day, it's very sad. It looks like this 18-year-old or 19-year-old, wherever he was an opportunist. Saw that this little girl was by herself, probably had been scoping and knew that the dad was gone, thought that he might be able to get away with it, and just killed the girl for what, man? Because he didn't want to face the consequences, tried to run, tried to hide, tried to lie. And I just think that people like this, and there are too many people on planet Earth that have no soul like this fool. And I think people like this have got to be scrubbed from our earth. Life in prison or worse, if he can get that, that would probably be better. Let me know what you guys think about this story. And RIP to the little girl, to Maria. Condolences to the father, to the mother, Los Cientos. And just keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. 'Cause it's just really sad, man, that you can't go to work, try to provide for your family, and people just come in and just feel like they could just take everything that you've worked and earned. It's really sad. Let me know what you guys think, man. Thank you.